Hello, everyone. Welcome to the best interview ever with my wonderful fellow reader friend, Gerald of Tarot Stash. And I
Hi,
know
everybody.
I am
I'm like,
so I am so delighted to have you on my show, Gerald. I
aw,
am like, this is so long in coming because we've been doing things together for a long time. I
we
don't
have
know how long it's been, maybe going towards a year, if not longer.
probably
So
close to a year, and you started it inviting me to the Mystic Four.
I did. Well, actually, I started earlier because I wanted to know about your gorgeous quilting. And I had you on my channel to talk about that because I saw you do a video of this phenomenal artwork that
Mm-hmm.
you did in quilting, and you took a photo or a picture, an image, and created that with your beautiful quilting, and the stitch work and everything you did was
You.
just, you know, mind-boggling. I love it because I love art. So that was the starting, and yeah, I created Mystic 4, and I couldn't think of anybody I would want on there more than you. So
Aw,
yeah, so here
that's
yeah.
sweet. Thank you. That's sweet. And by the way, everyone, this is Dragonfly Crystals, also known as Next Level Channeling, because she is a bit of an overachiever. So we've got to
So,
have that. So
but
all that.
I mean, we're here for Tarot Stash. Gerald is a absolute icon in this world, in this community, and a lot of people, whether you know it or not, look up to you as an example of how a human being should behave, and your ethics and beautiful energy.
Oh,
You're
thank you.
very present, and you really watch how your energy is utilized and how you let your energy flow out. It's
Yes.
very mindful, and it's just, I appreciate it so much because you remind those of us who sometimes aren't that way. Yeah, your Superman shirt. No. Oh, your tarot stash. Oh,
Yeah,
your
there you go.
tarot stash shirt. So I know, oh my gosh, we have, oh, wow. We have a lot of people commenting. Let me
It's a
get in here
lot of
and look
people,
at this.
wonderful people here. Thank you.
A lot of wonderful people. I'm just going to say hi to a few people because we're not going to spend a lot of time doing that because I want to get into what makes Gerald, how did he get to this place in life, and what your perspective is on the world. But starting out, what shaped you. So before that, I'll just say hi to Twisted Sushi, Aphasia Rising, Tarot Toke.
Tarot
Tarot
token
Toke.
tree. That is
That is a
Zane.
cute name. Oh my
Yes,
gosh, that's
it's
cute.
Zane. So
Hypnicity and Nancy, a Crohn's Intuition. Hi, Nancy. Fogo Pogo. Wow.
Kaylee,
Uh,
nice.
yeah. Hi, Joe Beth and Heather, Soul Alchemy. Love that new name. Willow
Yes.
Love and Pamela, Bachelor, Randy, Star, and Furry Tarot. Oh my God, that's so cute.
I love
Love
it.
that.
I tell you, some of you all, some of you, the best chatters have some of the best names. I mean, it's great.
I just love that. Uh, Hi, Martha Bean. And let's see, Wandering Mountain. Let's go
That's
down a little bit.
Jamie,
Yeah.
Wandering Mountain Bardic Path. She's going to be on with me today in a couple of hours.
Very good.
So yes.
So then we have Peacock Rainbow, Linda De Gonzalez. Hello, Linda, and Amanda Carroll. And I understand you're doing a show with Linda.
I
Is that
am doing
right?
a show with Linda, and it would probably be just smart if everybody were to like, share, and subscribe because it's free. Linda and I are doing a show. Heather and I are doing a show. Tarot Ask Backwards and I are doing a show. I'm working with Juno. I'm working, yeah. I'm working all the angles because somebody actually once said, Gerald's always working it. Always, yeah. It's like, well, yeah, okay.
Definitely. You definitely are. A few more names we'll say hi to is Lisa and Hershey. Let's see.
Hershey, yes.
Yeah.
Hershey and Thomas from Tarot Your Way are going to be on my channel. I'm privileged to host yawn questions or yawn readings, yes or no questions. So,
I love that.
yes,
yeah, I think that's great.
I'm looking forward to it. It's a lot of fun.
We'll have to tune in for that one. And so Cheryl and a few more. Captain Morgan, good to see you here, Captain Morgan. And let's see if I make sure I'm not. Oh, and Allison, Aries Girl Tarot. Nice to see you here. Okay, so we're going to get right into it because thank you everyone for being here. And I really appreciate it because I know it's early for some of us.
Okay, it's 11 o'clock for you. Is that early?
Yes.
Okay, I will agree with you. I mean, my natural, what do they call it? My circadian rhythm is as if I were to just fall asleep and wake up naturally. I'm naturally, I would wake up about 10 o'clock.
Oh, wow. That I love that because that's like a really good lie-in where you're rested and you're refreshed, your mind's ready to wake up and nothing forces you out of it. So in, getting a look, kind of a look at how Gerald started coming into this world. And, is there something you could share with us about your life's journey and pivotal moments and experiences that shaped who you are today, and give us a window into what made you the Gerald that you are?
Oh my gosh. Back when I was a kid, I am the youngest of 12 children.
Wow.
So, as I like to say, mom and dad stopped when they got it right.
Oh man.
And part of it is my parents had a genuine good sense of humor, and that really helped to inform how I engage with the world. I can laugh at myself. We were the family who, at funerals, at the funeral home, we're paying our respects, and then we're swapping stories about the person in the casket for the viewing, because it's one of those things that really elevates and honors where we are, because we're human. I'm human. I'm multifaceted. I'm multi-layered. I have lots of things. I can be happy. I can be sad. I can be disappointed. I can be angry all at once. I think a pivotal moment for me was I grew up Catholic. I served Mass through high school. I was one of the early lectors. Was one of the first youth lectors that was allowed to read. And I really enjoyed that. I liked the ceremony of the services.
Wow.
So, and I'm a curious guy.
Well, how old were you when you got to do that? When you would read and participate?
I was probably in 7th or 8th grade, so it was early.
Because that's quite a responsibility, and in front of a crowd, that takes a lot of you have to know who you are to stand there in front of a big, huge church full of people. So,
and so that was helpful. And I do remember, because in a big Catholic family, I know that's redundant, big and Catholic families, it's, someone is going to take holy orders. And my brother actually went to high school and seminary. He did not become he did not take up holy orders. And I did a summer in at seminary, and it wasn't for me. It wasn't for me.
Wow,
But
but you did it a summer doing
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So you really felt connected to your spiritual self. I mean, you were connected to that force, whatever in the universe, that feeling that there was more than you.
Yes, yes, and I would say that's one of the great things is I appreciated the ceremony about it, because the
Yeah.
ceremony really helps to get people into the mindset
Oh, I
and
really
and
love
to
that.
experience
Yeah.
that, and that's still a really important part.
Yeah, because when you're talking about ceremony and all of that, that kind of came in later in your life, and we'll get to that and talk about,
Mhm. Yes.
practices. But what other pivotal moments have you? And I can see how that would be a big pivotal moment.
Yeah. And
Gerald in front of the audience, and it's a natural thing, right?
yeah, yes. I also, my mother really supported me in questioning things. I've said this about my mom previously. She experienced her spirituality through Catholicism, and religion and spirituality are two different things.
Yeah.
I remember asking mom at one point. I know I was a teenager and I was causing trouble in Sunday school because I was asking questions of that no Sunday school teacher wants a person to ask. And I'm like going, Mom, I mean, there's so many different religions in the world. Shouldn't there be something common about all of them? Shouldn't something link all of them? And mom goes, you may be right. What are you going to do about that?
Oh, I love your mother. My God, she is so sharp.
So yeah, and so I did a little bit of reading, and I was like going, okay. And so that's been something, that curiosity is the curiosity and the acceptance of where people are.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, that's where you are. Great. Now can
Well,
we?
so
Yeah.
that acceptance kind of almost lended itself to you, would you say, from your mother's saying, "Oh yeah, you have a point. What are you going to do about it?" It's like she accepted your feelings or ideas about things, so therefore you can be more accepting about others, in life.
Sure.
It's kind of
Sure.
like many instances of that kind of thing
Yeah.
probably lend you toward that
Yeah.
openness to new ideas.
I think so.
So so that was a beautiful point that you just mentioned. Yeah, that would be pivotal. So what did you do about it?
Well, I got curious. I was going to the library and I was referencing some different holy books, reading the Quran, looking at the Talmud, various
Oh,
other philosophies.
wow.
I looked at some yoga stuff,
Mhm.
and it was fun. It was a curiosity for me.
How old were you when you were doing this?
I was probably 14,
Oh,
13 or 14.
wow. Oh my gosh.
So, and
You really were um, able to grasp higher ideals or a greater picture of the universe, even at that young age, because you wouldn't have had those insightful thoughts.
I don't know if I was able to grasp them.
Mhm,
I was
mhm.
curious about them.
Yeah, and I love
And
that.
for me,
Yeah.
that was like going, it was like, okay. I mean,
Mhm,
I experienced that quite a bit.
mhm.
Yeah, yeah. And Jeffrey, who, the voice of Jeffrey, who you couldn't hear, he said it expanded your mind. And I can
Yes.
use a tiny hand and it, causes my brain to expand. So, and,
I
and,
love
and,
that.
and I actually remember having a conversation with my
Mhm.
mother about the Da Vinci Code.
Oh,
Have you ever
yeah.
read the book or
Yes,
seen the
of
movie?
course. I've read the books and seen the movies. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
Dan
fascinating,
Brown. Yeah,
fascinating. And
yeah.
I was like going, "Ooh, what's mom going to say about this?" And I
Mhm.
asked mom, And she looked at me and she said, "Of course Jesus was married. He was 30.
Oh
Of
my
course
God,
he
I
was
love
married."
again.
And
I'm
I'm like,
sure.
going, okay. And so she just said, it makes sense, doesn't it?
Oh my
So
God, your mother. I don't know if she's crossed or not, but I love
she
her.
does, yeah. Yeah, she's
I,
great. She's
I
great.
love
Yeah.
her.
And I'm seeing some of the great comments in the chat. Sally said, those tiny hands pulled back the curtain.
Yeah,
It's
I
like, oh
saw
yeah.
that.
And Beth said that, precocious. I was very intuitive as a child. I knew what things were. I knew what was going on before they happened.
You have, did you have insight? What was truth? Truth. You kind of had this
Yes.
thing within
Yes.
you that you knew. You just knew.
Yes.
You know.
Well, and I think, oh, and Sally said your mother set you up for caffeinated and unfiltered. Oh yeah. Oh yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely. Well, your mom, I love your mom.
Yeah.
Oh my
Well,
God.
and I think one of the things is mom and dad never lost their sense of humor.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have 12 children, I mean, that's all you
Oh,
got.
you gotta have humor, right? Because I mean,
Yes.
it's gonna be chaos.
And and they loved each other. That was
Yeah.
obvious. They didn't always get along. That was obvious. They
Yeah.
worked it out. That was not always obvious. But and one of those things that being the youngest of 12 children, all of us had an opportunity to get a good education. We had what we needed, not everything that we wanted.
Yeah.
And I look back at that and I'm like going, "Oh my God, that was great. We got cardboard boxes and a whole box of crayons to be able to do stuff with."
And you
Um,
learn what what you really can appreciate about life. It isn't the things, it's the people, right? And
yes,
I
yes,
love that you really got to experience that profound, beautiful, clear way of looking at life because so many kids today have so much given to them. They don't get to have that sense of, oh, these are the important things. Oh, this is how life is because they were too busy
yeah. So
X, Y, and Z. But I feel like
and by the way, everybody, Val has a whole a whole sheet of single line questions to ask me.
I'm going on to the next one. I
Okay.
know I'm not a good interviewer because I shouldn't
Oh,
be
stop
inputting
it.
my
You're
own
fine.
stuff. But I
You're fine.
just want to say, no, because you're going to say some beautiful things as you have. So people are going to love it. That's why it is the best interview. So you really did hit on some key values and principles that guide your decision making. Is there anything else, your decision making and actions in both personal and professional aspects of your life that would inform your ethics or the way that you conduct yourself even today? What would you say that came from?
Hmm. I've always sort of gone with the flow and I'm looking for opportunities. I worked at our local library for 32 years
Oh,
and and in that I showed up and I did a good job.
yeah.
That's what my parents taught me.
Hmm.
You show up and you do a good job. And then opportunity knocked and I opened the door and I
Hmm.
walked through. So I was given a lot of great opportunities, and that I truly appreciate. So I think the ability to allow to follow the nudges that happen
Hmm.
in
Hmm.
life.
So where,
So
would you say that that is because you weren't fearful about new opportunities presenting themselves, that you just felt the impetus to go for these things? I
I
mean,
felt
what?
the impetus to go. I felt the nudge to go and
Yeah,
try and to interview
yeah,
for positions and
yeah,
to ask questions.
yeah.
I always wanted to do a good interview.
Oh, that's
And
excellent. Yeah.
I always, and you know, I always, I figured if I was going to interview for a job, I was going to get it.
Oh yeah, I love it. And that is the key to success,
Yes.
and the key to creating
Yes.
everything you want in your life. So, that is awesome. But how would you approach challenges in your life or setbacks? And what role have they played in shaping your character and resilience in today?
Wow. Um, Setbacks. I understand it now. I didn't understand it when it was necessarily going on. I have been given lots of good opportunities, and part of what happens is when things didn't go exactly as I expected them to go, I would wallow a little bit, and I would honor that disappointment or however I was feeling. And then sometimes I would do um I that's a good question. Mm, I would honor that. I would not use it as an excuse. And it's sort of like it's like, okay, it's like when I'm sick, if I'm starting to come down with a cold, all of that. Um, I know myself well enough. My body just needs to sleep. Just sleep. Let the body do exactly what it needs to do.
Right.
And so I think part of it is I honor where I was. I honored where I was, and then I would go, okay, I have to do this. I would do something in the future that forced me to get out of that mode. That
Wow.
um, I don't
That's
want to
awesome.
say, it's not a victimization or anything like that. It's
Mhm.
just to be disappointed. I allowed
Yeah.
myself to experience that,
And
and then it's like I set a timer. You got 5 minutes to
yeah.
argue about this.
And that's a beautiful thing, Gerald, because too many people shut their emotions off. It's
Yes.
okay to feel your emotions. It's
Oh,
good to
yes.
feel them. And like Gerald, set a timer and pop yourself out of it because, you know, it's productive to let it flow out of you.
Well,
Uh,
yeah, because when you pay attention to um, when you pay attention to the world around us,
yeah.
like right now in the northern hemisphere, we're in winter, and um, there's a period of rest, and then there's a period of activity and emergence, and then activity, and then harvest, and then there's another period of rest. Paying attention to my own rhythms
Yes.
really helped me.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Really
That's
helped me.
beautiful. And it is true that there are seasons and cycles of life. And even that you were cognizant of that as your individual rhythm, what that was and how to work with that. That's a powerful thing. It
Thank
really
you.
is. And what significant life lessons um, have you learned along the way you believe contributed to your personal growth?
Not taking myself so seriously.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a good
I,
one.
I am a person who I do some things that I just find freaking hilarious. I am like going, if I were watching my life, I would have this fan and it would be thwarping all the time. And I'm like going, really, Queen? What were you thinking? Well, of course that's what happened. It's so
Oh,
yeah,
I love that.
it's
I
it's
think
crazy.
that
It's
that
great.
really, out of all the things you could pick, humor gets you a long, long, long way.
Humor does. I also and by the way, there's some amazing people in the chat. Thank you, the best chatters. I do
Yeah.
see Chris from Elemental Cartomancy, who is
Mhm.
hosting me to come on his show on
Oh,
Thursday for what he calls round table readings. He's going to do a
oh,
reading for me
Oh,
live, and we're going to talk about it. So you
I'm
get to
going to have to tune into that one.
it's going to be fun. So okay, so what was the question again? I
So
got distracted
yeah,
by the best chatters.
that's all right. It's about what your significant life lessons were, what you've learned along the way, and what have contributed to your personal growth, you would
Mm,
say. And of course, like you said, humor is fantastic because it gets you out of your
yes,
own
yes,
way.
yes. I always work hard. My humor is um, never puts anyone else down.
Mhm.
It would poke fun at me, not
Yeah.
at other people.
That's
The
awesome.
other thing that works, that has been a good lesson for me, and when I realized it and learned it, I realized it was a superpower. Is I'm really good at keeping secrets.
That is excellent. And I learned that lesson too, but early on, you
Yes,
really have to learn how to keep secrets.
yes. Well, and part of it is I keep secrets. I keep things private.
That's it.
So if someone tells me something, I am going to hold that in confidence. I'm going to put it in a little box. I'm going to put the lock on it. I'm going to put it in the vault, and then I'm going to put it behind the Gringotts. In the
Green
Gringotts
dots.
building. Was that an okay reference to Harry Potter?
Yeah, I love Harry Potter, so, I'm all into the
So
Gringotts.
and
So, yeah.
yeah,
So what so you are, uh I just lost my train of thought. I forgot what I was gonna say, and it was good. I
well,
was just trying to tie it back to what you were saying about holding that space for someone. They feel
yes.
safe with you because you will hold it like a Gringotts vault.
Well,
That's what I'm
yes.
trying to
I mean,
say.
and actually, you bring up a really good point. Holding space is something
Mhm.
that is really important to me.
Yeah.
Holding space, it means different things to different people. For me, it's allowing somebody to experience what they're experiencing
Mhm.
and support them while they go through that.
Mhm.
On the other side of that, then is if they need to think about it,
Yeah.
they can think about it and they can experience it. For me, I actually think that is one of my I would say
Superpower?
that is a gift that I have. It's a superpower. It's one of my life purposes, I believe,
Oh.
to
Oh.
to help people to experience what it is they need to
Mhm.
experience, to fully immerse themselves into that.
And you go ahead. I was
And,
just gonna say you have that presence with them to
oh,
you
thank you.
have a beautiful in the present moment space that you create that allows somebody that.
Thank you.
And
Thank
not that many people have that presence in the moment. So
you. Yeah.
that's pretty significant. Yeah.
I've been very privileged to have an opportunity to share key spiritual moments with people. Someone in chat has invited me to be one of like 4 people to go through a ceremony for them, and that's a great privilege.
Oh, it
Um,
is. It's an
and
honor. Right.
it's such an honor, and
Mhm.
for that I take that extremely seriously because I want to make sure that I am doing everything that I need to do to
Mhm.
be in the right space so that I can fully support this person having their most, one of their significant experiences.
I
So
love that.
it's beautiful.
I love that, and that you hold all of that in your kind of divine plan path to do this kind of work with others, and you hold that space so beautifully. And I wonder if you have any individuals, books, or experiences that have been a profound influence on your life philosophy. I know your mother's one of them.
Oh, mom and dad were really great. They were great. I mean, I didn't have the
One of
ideal
them.
childhood. I had a really solid childhood.
Yeah,
So
you
that
you
was,
really did. For
yeah.
all those kids, you really came out with a lot.
And as I say, they stopped when they got it right, because why go again when you have fabulous?
Youngest. And you have all sisters, right?
No, I have there's
you have
7
another brother?
sisters and there were 5 boys.
Oh, okay. 5 boys. Oh,
Yes.
holy.
So
That's a lot of okay, so it was pretty evenly matched. Okay.
So do I have a book? I do remember, okay, this is going to sound really strange, but I don't care, because this is apparently the best interview. If I remember, a friend of mine gave me a copy of Pink Floyd, The Wall.
Yes.
I don't know if you've never heard it, and as a teenage artist, that was like, ooh, wow. And it was really deep. And then I also read Jonathan Livingston Seagull. But the other book that was really good, which I thought was better, was the book Illusions by Richard Bach. I haven't read that in a long time. I could probably read that. That was really helpful.
I've read Richard Bach's books myself.
The other book that was really helpful is it's by Julia Cameron. It's called The Artist Way.
Oh.
And it's a 12-week program to help people regain their creativity.
That is phenomenal. And her name is Julia. What is
Julia Cameron.
Cameron.
Julia Cameron. Yes.
In case anybody wants to get that.
Yeah.
So
I was fortunate. I had friends where we actually got together to where we went through these. We got together every week. There's exercises that you do. It's really great with that. So that's where I learned how to honor my own rhythms and to not make any excuses for who I am, just embrace who I am.
Yes.
So that was really good. Then I taught that for people. I did some classes using that to watch people unfold who they don't think they're creative. And lo and behold, yes, they are creative.
I love that.
In a way that is something that they don't expect. So.
And that creativity, I just want to say, is so important. It's everything. It's how we connect and read and channel and everything. It's that same thing, that creative force, that imagination, so that's beautiful, Gerald. I love that. Yeah. So if somebody wants to run out and get that, Julia Cameron,
yes,
that would be beautiful. Or Gerald could do another class.
Well,
open the flows of creativity by Gerald Tarostash. I can see it now.
Well, but and I spent 20 plus years of my library career teaching and developing people. So that's where I spent most of my time.
I love that.
It was really a gift, and I like learning how I work, and I like helping people discover how they work.
So as far as a life philosophy, getting into kind of shifting gears over into how you are presenting yourself in the world today, how your philosophy is, and including those Wiccan practices, and sharing a bit about that. You talked a little bit about the different spirituality modalities you've looked at, and you haven't just gone right to one thing. You explored. And so what drew you to be interested in Wicca?
It was really a natural process, because studying Catholicism, doing some exploration of some other cultural paths, exploring, spending time with, experiencing, having some personal experiences with aspects of God.
Mhm.
I was fortunate enough to meet some people who they were exploring um, paganism or being Wiccan, and I met their high priestess. I was actually in a show with her.
Hmm.
So, and so if you've ever done a show,
Mhm.
oftentimes the director will give an opening night speech in, backstage to get everybody revved up. And I could tell somebody was doing some energy work.
Oh, you could
And I
feel it.
was, yes. And of course it's me. So I'm going, who is it? Who is it? Who is it? Which one of you is doing this? Because, and I was doing that. And, I spotted the person, and Lady Julie, she would tell the story, because this is how, this is what bonded our friendship. Um, you know, the director was done, and I went over to her, and I'm like, "It was you, wasn't it?" She's like,
Wow.
"What?" I said, "You were pulling energy. You were helping to build the energy of the space." She's like, "Yes."
Oh man, you nailed it.
I nailed it. And it's funny. And she is a dear friend. So
Mhm.
she was the one who introduced me to Robin Wood,
Oh,
who created the Robin Wood Tarot.
yeah. Wow.
And she broke a lot of rules. To She invited me to some closed rituals,
Mhm.
so it was a blessing to be part of that and to have her open. And we spent a lot of time chatting about spirituality and what it looked like. So,
Well, yeah, it sounds like you were able to see what that was like energetically, all this wonderful the way in which you could utilize your energy and create spaces and move things along in a beautiful way. Um, that was really nice. So
so I,
that
yeah.
yeah, go
So,
ahead. Go
and
ahead.
then, and so, I participated with them. I was given that gift to be able to participate. I was on a different spiritual path. And I'm a smorgasbord sort of person.
Yeah.
There's lots of gems in different
Yes.
spiritual paths. I like to find those gems and enjoy them. You
That's
know,
how I am too.
I
It's
would
just
wear it in a
fun.
necklace,
Yeah.
because
If
behind me
this
there's,
works, that works, that works.
yep,
Grab it
that
and
works,
use it.
that works. And boy, that works extremely well together. And or that doesn't, don't do that. That's scary.
I
Um,
totally love that.
you
So, would you consider yourself a pagan or a Wiccan, or do you not use labels because you're eclectic in your perception and usage of the lot of life, whatever you do? I don't know.
if by pagan you mean different than the popular culture,
Mhm. Different than
then it
popular
would be
culture.
pagan. If
Okay.
by Wiccan you mean paying attention to the natural rhythms of life,
Yes.
I
Oh,
would
and
say
could you
Wiccan.
I so just like you said, and I stepped on your words, I'm sorry, giving us a look at what Wicca is, so we can understand the energy, please.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure. Well, and this is just the Gerald version of it. And by the way,
Yeah.
there are amazing books out there. Go read them. There's great tarot decks out there. And purchase responsibly, know your limits, don't be buying stuff, go to your library and borrow it. So depending upon the aspects that you approach it, there's the idea of
Yeah.
going with the natural rhythms of life. What does nature do? Paying attention to the phases of the moon, the movement of the sun. Those are all very significant things
Mhm.
in Wicca.
Yeah.
Very much so. The other aspect of that is realizing we have power that we can influence and we can help interact with the environment around us and what outcomes happen.
Oh, that's
Energy work,
beautiful.
something like that. So I do pay attention to the moon phases, the seasons, because by the way, most of the Christian holidays are based upon pagan holidays.
I know. I was just going to get into that too. Is
So
I know we were talking before about this, but there's a lot of practices that we do today in the big
yep,
world that are
yep.
all really pagan traditions and whatnot. It's just so intermingled, and
It
it's
is, and what's also awesome about it, like at Christmas time,
yeah,
Yule, there are a lot of fire celebrations that happen
yeah.
around religions around the world. And what's great about that is, and this goes back to that idea I was talking to my mom about, so there's got to be something in common. It's like, well, pay attention to what's going on because
Yeah.
it's dark and people are hoping for the sun to come back. So they're pulling together the warmth of
Oh,
of fire.
you
So
just
there's
gave me the chills.
fire celebrations, and it's
Yeah,
about community. It's about working together. And anything, I'm a big fan for anything that gets people to come together for a common goal, for a common outcome, especially if part of that common outcome is let's elevate everybody who is here.
I love that.
So,
I love that. That's
you know,
beautiful.
and we've got Easter coming up, which is
Mhm.
associated with the spring equinox, which is Ostara, which is based on the goddess of Oster. I
Mhm.
mispronounced that, right, Jeffrey?
No, I think
Jeffrey's
that's
giving me
right.
a look. He's like, so,
No,
so,
that's
so,
how I pronounce it.
yeah, it
Yeah,
depends upon where you're from. And so,
yeah.
if we notice this and see, this is my big thing, Val. Okay,
Mhm.
this is a thing that I really want. I
Yeah.
want people to what I would encourage people to do is find out how we are similar instead of how we are different.
That's beautiful. Well
What
said.
commonalities do we have? And I think about, we think about birthdays. Let's talk about birthdays.
Yeah.
What things do people do to celebrate birthdays? All
Mhm.
of those things, and find out. It's like, well, gosh, we do something similar. And
Absolutely.
different, instead of being different, find out how we are similar. Because
Absolutely.
guess what? If we realize that my neighbor who who makes different choices than I do is everybody is struggling with their own battle.
Mhm.
We're not sharing it. But let's face it, if my neighbor was hungry and I had extra food, I, I want to be knocking on that neighbor's door
Beautiful.
and saying, "Here, have some food."
Yes, that's
Because
really beautiful energy, and you aren't going to just go, "Oh, they're different than me. I'm not giving them anything."
yeah,
You're going, "No, you're going to be inclusive." And isn't inclusiveness that beautiful feeling of being more open and less restrictive? That allowing. And you really, of all the energy that I've ever seen, you're very inclusive and very
thank you.
open. And, you really keep your perspectives open and you hold space well for people. I
Thank
love
you.
that. So as
That's
far
that's
as
really
as
important.
far as your readings with people too, when you do private readings, you are also holding that space. I know we talked about that. So,
Mhm. Yeah.
um, and what can somebody expect in a reading with you? Um, give me a little
Um,
window. Give us a window into that,
ooh.
into the reading land. Is it like caffeinated and unfiltered, or
It is like caffeinated and unfiltered, partially because that's who I am.
Mhm.
I'm the guy who, when I see something and I have a sense of that somebody is aware of it, they're just not wanting me to see it and they're trying to hide it. I am
Right.
totally going to take my tiny hand and I'm going to go boop, 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 boop.
You're going to press on the
I
sore
am
spot or press on the button
I am
and
going to press on the sore spot
for their highest good
for their
because
highest good. Yes, I never wanted. Yeah, so my readings are always, when I do a reading, I always want to understand. First of all, I ask if anybody had ever had a tarot reading before,
Mhm,
because if they haven't, then I want them to understand how it works for me. And if they've
mhm.
had an experience and it was horrible, I want to help to try to broaden their mindset a little bit. So with that, I will do. I use tarot cards.
Mhm,
I talk to spirit guides, talk to
mhm,
ancestors, talk to deity. I use light language. I
mhm.
access akashic records in the way that I didn't know that that's what I was doing.
Of
This was
course
40
you
years
do.
ago.
You've done it from the day you were
But,
born.
well, but I didn't know that it had a name, and that was really interesting. I was like, going, "Oh, that's what that is." So, so I access all of those things,
Mhm,
and try to, uh, because I was a trainer and somebody who developed people. I
mhm.
always like it when people leave with an understanding of something, like one small thing they can do to help them.
Right.
So
You're
it's like,
giving them something to take away so that they can, really renew their sense of self and maybe even, let go of old
yes,
thought forms or ideas of who they are. Because when you
yes.
aren't our family icon, we're something different than that. And we have to
Yes.
go, oh, that's not
In
who
the chat, you'll see Starla at the
I
bottom
am.
of the chat.
Oh, yeah, Starla.
And Starla is a good friend
When
of mine, and she's like, going, "When are you not caffeinated and unfiltered?" And she's right, because I
because
had an experience where I first met Starla, and I was like, going, "You and I need to talk." She was on my channel at one point, so
Aw.
it's
Well,
funny.
that's you're that way because you feel that if you're hearing this message or getting this information, it's something constructive for the person sitting for the reading,
Yeah,
and you're sharing it in a way that they can hear it, since sometimes people need it plainly spoken. So
I hope, and and I've actually had I've so for me, it's a reading is like I like to figure out what someone's frame of reference is,
yeah,
so I can best help them and best answer.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. I
So,
think that's wonderful. And, yeah,
did I
Cheryl,
answer your
saying
question?
that creates that that's what a
Okay.
good coach does,
Yeah.
creates awareness.
Yep.
Exactly,
Yes. Definitely.
exactly, Cheryl.
Definitely.
And, Linda's saying, "Yes." Yeah, for Willow, it should be caffeinated and unfiltered. I would rather know exactly what I need to know versus, "Yes, exactly, Willow love," and that's exactly what Linda was saying. They
Yeah.
would rather have the, uh, caffeinated version.
Well,
They don't wanna go for a reading for fluff, they wanna hear what they can
yeah.
improve on,
Yeah. Yeah.
what's
Well, and that's the thing. I did I did about gosh, was it 10 or 12 years of postgraduate work in
yeah.
Gestalt studies.
Oh my gosh, so you have a lot of psychology.
So, and awareness is a big thing. And the mentor Norman actually said, he said, honesty without, let's see, how was it? Honesty without support is brutality.
Absolutely true, and you hold the space for people in a beautiful way while presenting whatever information their guides and angels and
Yeah.
whoever's coming through wants them to know,
Mhm.
and you're just delivering that message, and, uh, in a compassionate way, as I've always seen you do.
I try to do that.
So
Thank you.
yeah,
That's
you
very,
really
very
are. Yes, you have a big heart, and so that helps everyone holding that space with your big, beautiful, compassionate energy. Someone can receive and feel it without somebody else's judgment.
yes.
Yeah, it really helps.
And
So
believe it, I spent a lot of my childhood and young adult life talking and not listening. I think it was a good flip mid 30s where I was just like going, and this came through some therapy in my work of, you need to stop talking so much. Other people have important things to say.
and it's just the opposite for me. I never talked, and now I talk too much, and I have to stop because people have wonderful things to say. So,
Well, and also as a trainer, I learned one of the key things that I learned in, as I've been certified in a whole lot of different training styles,
mhm.
but it's like, a key thing is to maintain learner self-esteem.
Yeah, that's it,
So
right?
if someone is coming to me for a reading, Val,
Yeah.
and they leave not feeling good about having spent time with me, I have completely failed.
I'm with you 100% because you should go away when you've heard the truth, when you have heard um, the universal truth, the divine source truth. You should come away empowered. Even if it was a truth, you go, oh, you really, but you
Yeah,
should still
truth,
feel energized and empowered over
yes,
that because you feel that empowerment from that truth.
yes.
Whereas in the other way, it's a diminishing feeling that you have no tools in your toolbox and you just got somebody saying something harsh. But
Well, and that's the thing. And probably about 5 years ago, this whole interview would not have happened because I would not have. I mean, you've been heaping praise on me, and
oh,
it's still
hello, you're deserving
it's
of it.
well, it's yes. Thank you. It's still hard for me to
Um,
allow people to say that and to believe that people think that about me. And
yeah,
that's part of my own work, and I do that work. It's like, oh gosh, okay. And I think that's honestly an important thing to understand
yeah.
about ourselves,
It
because
really is. I mean, self-deprecating humor kind of is a clue. I have it too. I have self-deprecation in a way, I use it humorously. We tend not to receive in all the glory and the goodness. We go, oh, yeah, okay. But we don't really suck it in and to our bone marrow. And
right,
yeah, it's something I work on it even today. And
yeah,
I know how you are, Gerald. You're very much a giving person and you put this energy out there.
thank you.
But when it comes time to let it come in, you're so modest and you're like, you want to put a shield up so it doesn't get to you. But
Well,
there's too many.
I do, and I work really hard at not
Yeah.
putting that shield up.
Yes. Yes.
And I think it's important thing. Somebody asked earlier on, is this like, when did the stash personality come to
Yeah.
be? Um, Tarot Stash was created 2 years ago. And uh, the thing that I used to have a knitting blog and a knitting YouTube channel.
Mhm.
Um, and I told myself is who you're going to see on camera is who I am off camera.
Right.
Because to be honest with you, I am too lazy to remember what
Me
personality needs to come out.
I totally get what you're saying.
I-
And you know what? I'm finding that 1 hour is not enough to interview you because I still have questions about
all right,
you
let's do
when
rapid
has
fire.
what I'm sorry, go ahead. What?
I say you could do them rapid fire and we'll try to answer it.
Well, rituals and practices. What are
Yes.
some that for instance, some rituals and practices you have that we do, any of us do, I mean, or would want to do? Are there some practices you can share that we go, oh, I want to incorporate that?
Well, yeah, I mean, and okay, part of it is it's just like an intention is everything.
Yes.
Well, intention is a lot of things, and one of the things that's really important is before I do any type of magic, I am always lighting a candle for myself to support me. If I am not my most authentic self and I am not the clearest that I can be, nothing's going to work.
Good
So
point.
I would say, and I do in the shower. I do. There's a what is her name? It's the zip up technique, and I cannot remember. Donna Eden, the zip up technique.
Yeah.
Where it helps to align your chakras.
Yes.
So I do that. And there's also the idea of if repetitive tasks are always a great opportunity to make ritual.
Yes.
If you brush your teeth, you could actually brush your teeth saying some things to yourself.
You know what? You do this every day. So, oh my God, I'm going to go do that now. And it just reminded me, Gerald, not to cut you off about that, but I love your coffee. What you do with your coffee in the morning, you stir it and say, go ahead, tell everyone.
Well, I mean,
I started doing it.
Okay. And see, and this is the thing, because when you're stirring clockwise, you're drawing into. So there, yes, they could be affirmations. They could be, it could be focus. It could be whatever it is that I need.
I say, this chai tea is healthy for me, vibrant, keeps me balanced, body, mind, and spirit, gives me everything I need to connect with all that is, divine source, and the perfect complement with everything. Thank you.
And well, yes. And so I think, it's like before I sit down to do a live, I light incense, I wear a necklace, getting myself into that headspace. Whatever works for you is what you should do.
And I love the teeth. What do you say when you do your teeth? Because, I mean, you're doing it. You might as well get something else out of it.
I'm not going to tell you what I say when I'm brushing my teeth, because part of great practice is to keep it private. Because that way, if you keep, that's the fourth pillar of the magus.
Okay.
The first is to know, to will, to dare, to keep silent.
Okay.
Don't give your power away. If you're doing a magical working for something that you want to do, don't share that with anybody else, because then suddenly this ball of energy that you have right here suddenly loses its power because I've shared it.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense? I mean,
it does make sense.
So
it does make sense to me. Everybody forget what I just said about what I do with my chai tea in the morning.
But see, and I think it's one of those things that it's also like, growing up, before we ate, we always said prayer. That's a ritual.
Yes, it is. Rituals are every day. Brushing our teeth, like you said, even brushing our hair or whatever it is, a daily thing that we do is a ritual. My chai tea is a ritual.
Yes. And by the way, Jeffrey is in chat. He's saying things. He's Gerald. He's saying, like, hint, brushing teeth equals removing things.
Oh, thank you, Jeffrey. Oh my God. I am so excited that you told me that, because now I know what to do when I'm doing that. I can say all kinds of things.
And Jeffrey also said earlier, he said, I'm going to insert that the stash personality was always there. It's just become more apparent with a practical outlet.
Oh, that's really, yes. I have to say, now I have to squeeze a few more seconds out of you, because
I'm not in a rush. You've got me for,
because I mean, there's a lot of good stuff here that I haven't gotten into the deep, deep, deep Gerald yet. Okay, so, there's so much. Okay, now we know one of my questions is, do you practice individually or part of a coven? But I know you have a coven. You are in a coven.
I am in a coven, yet the coven requires that we all have our individual practice. Because when we have our individual practice, when we are together,
you bring
it
more
elevates
power.
all of that. So if I'm doing my personal work,
yeah,
I'm adding to the communal energy. So I'm working on the collective energy.
So it's just like anyone doing their spiritual practice, whatever name you want to call it, you're you're creating a higher frequency and a higher vibration for yourself. So when you come together in a group like Colleen's meditation for a new world vision or creating the world you want, you're getting together with a bunch of energy. So I love that.
Okay, so one of the best chatters, Pamela, said, I think we all share the powers and none of us own any power at all. Yes.
Correct.
And somebody asked earlier, if Gerald, are you teaching this? I think it was Cheryl. I'm not teaching it. Some of it is on the playlist for Magic Tool Talk. I think we all share the powers. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And when we get to know those powers and exercise those powers and build those powers and then share them freely with the right intention of is I don't need reward for this.
Yes.
That elevates it even more.
Oh, so much so, really, because you're selfless and you're just in there with the group. You're coalescing your energy and creating from that pure space. So I absolutely love that. And I wanted to know, what can you think of as common misperceptions somebody might have about Wicca? Because there's some people out there that didn't understand that they don't understand that it's a nature, beautiful, natural, created connection. So it isn't.
So what's the the misperception is that witches are bad.
Yeah. Hello, we all. I mean, in our past lives, getting burned at the stake and whatnot. I mean, no.
And so I think, the term witch means a lot of different things to different people. I think people need to put yourself in check and figure out what it is, what it means to you, because someone back in the day could be somebody who is very good with herbs and a healer. By some standards, that could be a witch.
And I have to say, the Akashic Record Masters, someone I won't name, they asked, what lifetime did I have this? Was I persecuted as a witch? They showed me a lifetime like in the 1600s where this person was in a little village and they did herbal remedies and elixirs for the community. That's what their witchy abilities were. And so you're right.
Yeah. And so I think that's a misperception.
Yeah.
And it's often based in fear. People are afraid of what they don't know.
Yeah.
So Pamela
if you could tell somebody, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, Pamela asked, she says, so I don't understand the idea that this is my power at all and I can't share it. Oh, Pamela, you can absolutely share your power. When I'm doing some private things, that's part of my personal book, my personal book of shadows, my grimoire. And I will share that only with my most intimate friends, my intimates. So, and Pamela, that just works for me. My experience has been if I'm working on something, I want to keep all of the power centered on that until what I am working on comes to fruition. So,
well said. Well said. Beautiful. So I just wanted to know um, if you can tell us about any really transformational and transformative experiences you've had practicing your ceremonies, or what, like mystical so things that we go, oh, share.
Well, I remember being invited to a celebration, and I was taking on the role of somebody who was speaking. I, I'm not a label person, but
Mhm.
I was like being an oracle. I was there
Mhm.
to listen to all of the messages. And somebody, when they cast circle, they got a little cocky and invited. They said, and anything else that wants to come in.
Oh, uh-oh.
And I went, oh,
Hell
whoa,
no.
whoa, whoa,
I
whoa.
mean, hail to the no.
I mean, and it got really crowded in the room, and there was some the energy was a little mischievous, so I had to work at keeping that. But then there were a lot of people who wanted to communicate
Mhm.
information.
Mhm.
So for me, it was okay, here's how this is going to work, because I cannot need because as I described it, Val, and shut me up if we're
Mhm.
going too long.
No,
Um,
no, you go. I
um,
could be here for another, till another half hour, so I'm
okay,
cool. I
so
hate to interrupt you.
as I described it, we were in circle, and it was in my friend's basement.
Yeah.
This was said, and it felt like a sports stadium filled up
Mhm.
with everybody who had something to say.
Wow.
And so I had to
So
go,
when
and
you invite them in, they come.
yes, well, yeah. So I'm like, that's where I learned is be very clear about what you say, because it
Yes.
will happen.
Mhm.
Set your intentions
Yeah.
very clearly. And then I that's when I was actually going, okay, here's what we're going to do. And I set the boundaries for the messages, and it worked. And I was like going, oh,
Yeah.
that's cool. So
Very nice.
so
That is very nice. And you are absolutely right about setting your intention and saying whatever you say, be careful about what you're asking to come in. I
yep.
always say, for me, and everybody can use their own wording, but I always say, like, even when I start meditation, I ask for the highest vibration of light and love and divine source energies to come
Mhm.
in, whoever I'm going to channel in,
Yes.
because you don't want to ask for, not that anything's going to happen because you invited whatever, whoever. They're just, like you say, tricksters, whatevers, or,
So
it's,
I think that was the reason I shared that point is one, I was able to perceive that
I
energy.
love that.
I
Yes.
realized that it's like, ooh, be really careful of how you set your intention and be very clear on it. I also learned I was able to manage that. I was
That
skilled
was
at managing
beautiful.
that, which
That
was
was
I never
beautiful.
expected that. I was like, ooh, okay, cool.
You absolutely stood in your power and said what had to be said to create your boundaries and for whomever.
Yep.
So I love that. I love that. That's a beautiful discovering of your abilities in that moment when you needed it. And
And
it
I
was
wasn't
like,
expecting it, and
no,
I rolled with it, and it's like, okay,
no.
here you go.
That's remarkable and beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
And has Wicca influenced your worldview and personal growth? I mean, it's influence. I mean, you're eclectic in
Yeah.
that you're doing light language. You're creating shows with beautiful content,
Yeah.
including that light language series that you do, which I find profound.
Thank
And
you.
it's really created a whole nother set of gifts for you. I mean, not that you always had the capability and gifts. Yes, language.
Yeah.
Yeah, tune into Gerald's light language series with Tuta Speaks. And who is it with also?
Karen from Starseed
Karen.
Awakening 1111.
There you go. That series is phenomenal. You will get so much energy and information from sitting there listening to it. Listen to them like 3 or 4 times. Don't forget to like and subscribe on those too.
It's been very eye-opening. It's been a privilege to be part of it.
Yes, absolutely. And I really love that you have allowed that information to come in and present that way for yourself. However you use it. I mean, that's profound. How did that evolve for you when you were doing that? Can you share with everyone what was happening for you when that light language started?
Well, simply put, I thought light language was a language that was spoken or sung. So to me, I had my tiny hands around, a little box. I put everything in little boxes. And so I didn't think it could be anything other than a language. However, my language happens to be symbols, and it happens to be symbols related to Akashic records.
Yeah.
And I have been seeing these symbols for 25 plus years. When I've been doing readings for people, they don't always show up, and I've developed my relationship with it. So it was like all of a sudden, and I think it's, you can watch that first video where I'm going, wait a minute. Wait a minute. You mean light language can be this? And Karen and JJ are like, yes. And I'm like going,
no.
I mean, seriously, it was this moment. It was like,
because you were getting codes and symbols.
Yep.
This is encoded information coming through to you over and over. I mean, in flash, coming in. And you were there trying to do a show in this light language.
Well, and so it was great.
Because the more you acknowledge it, it showed up even more, probably.
Oh, yes. And I think that's the beauty in watching some of these videos and being part of them.
So, yeah, for sure.
Sylvia has asked a question.
Oh, yeah.
Colorful Forsyth, can you clarify you attracted a trickster through that intention? I didn't attract it. No. The person who called it was calling the Fae. And so, it wasn't a bad thing.
It wasn't a bad intention. They just left anybody can come through.
Yeah. They had changed it on a whim and opened it up instead of being a very concise group that was being invited in. So
that's all. And any of us could have that same experience by not saying, like I say in meditation, I'm inviting in all those beings of light and information from a divine source that are a high vibration.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of leaves out the people that aren't a high vibration.
So it was a good lesson learned. And Michelle Marie Astrological Tarot said, love that. Sacred geometry is huge in the Vedas. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Thank you, Michelle.
Hi, Carrie.
That's really nice. Okay, so you have this information coming in, but you still are not necessarily, and you don't have to be, consciously aware of what it is that these symbols and information coming in, how it unpacks within you, and how it somehow metamorphosizes. And it's just, this can be something so profound because it can just be energetic. In your energetics, your cellular structure can change, your frequency can become higher, and all these things can shift within you, and you reach out, and everyone you touch in that audience are affected by that. So this has been going on for 25 years.
Yeah, at least.
Wow.
At least. Well, and I think, the big thing is I'm very good at suspending my disbelief.
Yeah,
That's an important thing when you're working
it
with
is.
any type of magic or spiritual practice.
Yeah.
Except when I'm not very good at suspending my disbelief, and then I'm really horrible at it.
Well, I
But
mean, some things are out of our wheelhouse, and we may not feel attracted to an idea
yeah.
at the time or whatever. And it doesn't make it wrong, right, indifferent. It's just we're not attracted to that idea.
So for me, the symbols they're just they're the language and the code that works for me.
Yeah.
And how that gets how it gets downloaded or interpreted is based upon the person for whom I'm reading and the topic. So I have a really hard time of saying, oh, you do this to this, you do this to this.
Because it's not routine and it's not rote. It's in every moment with every different person. This is all going to be a very specialized thing for each individual. Yeah, I totally get that. And I love that. I mean, so if you guys have a reading with Gerald, you're getting all this good stuff. I mean, beyond what you're getting. Sitting in that energy for like an hour. So the Gerald energy. You too can have this.
Reach out to me. There you go.
So I just want to say I have really enjoyed this, and I tried to keep my mouth shut, but I have to talk. So I just want to ask you this question. How do you balance personal fulfillment with external expectations or societal norms in shaping your path? Because here you are, you're out there on YouTube, and I want to ask how you got on YouTube. That's a whole nother, I got a whole nother set of questions.
We got a whole nother set of questions. Okay.
YouTube. So, how do you balance personal fulfillment with external expectations or social norms in shaping your life path?
If I'm not enjoying it, I'm not going to do it.
Okay.
If YouTube for me stops being fun and starts being work that is not fun and rewarding, I'm going to stop.
Right.
I mean, to be honest with you, that's my, people ask, what advice do you have for somebody wanting to start a channel? It's like, make sure it's fun. Be willing to make mistakes and be consistent if you can.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, you're certainly very popular, and you have a lot of people who are subscribed to your channel. And I always said that, and they will subscribe, and you're going to have like 500,000 people subscribe to you.
Good Lord. Oh, I'm going to get one of those gold, those silver.
You're going to get one of those statues. You'll put it behind you. You'll have to move your screen out of the way, and then
they better put a mustache on it.
Oh, I should think so. They should absolutely do it as a custom piece for you. But can you, what would you say are significant challenges you may have faced along the way to overcome, and decide on what kind of content? How, as a YouTube creator, your content that you do, I mean, was it based on just the things you like? And what did that look like for you? How did you start reaching out to people? How did that happen?
Well, because I had two channels. Tarot Stash was about my collection.
Yeah.
Where I would do a lot of flip throughs and show my collection.
So your cards. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, because that was something that I wanted. I wanted to see.
I love those channels. I go to them to see, do I want that deck?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. I haven't done a whole lot of those recently. Should I? And and then there were other things where people were like going, oh, the first big video I did was working towards well-being, and that was in I think it was toward the end of 2020. And I hosted, I hosted some people, and we talked about the things that we were doing because it was 2020, what things we were doing to maintain our well-being. I got to meet some amazing people, great conversations. So I like to, I am a curious person. And if it can get a stash tag, that's a good thing.
Oh my God, a stash tag.
Yes. And and part of what I did, people were they when I started reading with people, they were like, how do you read like that? You should teach a class. So I have a series called Tarot the Stash Way.
Oh my God, I didn't know.
Yeah, and there's a playlist on that. And so that is how I went through.
My gosh.
And was looking at learning tarot. That I could do more of those videos. However,
I'm going to go to that series and watch those. So you can never train enough.
Yeah. Well, and then so the flip throughs also became a deck casual, which is where me and a guest would talk about our favorite cards from a deck and talk about the deck itself. Sometimes I get brave enough and call and contact the creators to see if they want to come on.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, the casual where you were on a casual with me.
I was on one. Yeah.
Chat that's casual, where I just like to get to know people and I like to introduce people. I also like to have a lot of fun and be silly, because, that led to the silly casual, where we just, get really, really crazy. So
I love that.
And I was doing readings. People invited me on to do readings. My good friend Richie from Longman Tarot and I do something called Long Stash, where we talk about the Sabbats and we do readings.
I love
it's been fun. It's fun.
Yeah, you've really done a lot. I don't know how many shows have you done in a day? Like 4 in a day?
Well, the most I've done is 4.
That boggles.
I'm a hardcore.
What's that?
I'm a hardcore extrovert. So
you really
but
are.
But then there was some conversation about magic tools and tools related to the 4 elements. And so I did magic tool talk. And then I got curious saying, what are some other things to learn about? And then that's where the Laugh and Learn series came about. Laugh and Learn and Magic Tool Talk are oftentimes happening at the same time because the light language came about because it was a laugh and learn. It was like, what's going on? So
I love that. I love that.
So
I love that. So, and everyone in the chat and whoever watches this on the replay, Gerald's content is so enriching. There's something there. I mean, there's many things there for people of all flavors. In other words, no matter what your enjoyment of the X, Y, or Z, you'll find something in there that you will really love to watch. Something informational and educational and fun. So yeah, definitely tune in for that. And one last question. What do you see yourself doing in the future? Or maybe what do you see yourself creating this year in 2024? What would you like to?
I want to be creating more fabric landscapes. My word for the year is create. That's something that I want to do more of because it helps to balance out.
Yeah.
So some people would like some Tarot Stash merchandise. Right now, to be honest with you, I'm too lazy to figure that out.
Well, I can say right when you said that, I saw a little tarot-scape, a landscape from Tarot Stash, just a little. I know there's a lot of work involved, but I'm seeing little, you could put a little eye hook through it and they could put it on their keys. And so they have, I mean, I can see many uses for that, and I can see people wanting one.
I
have
do
to put Tarot Stash on it, the bottom.
Yeah. I think that, a big thing that I want to have happen is that I'm hoping that people are learning some things. They're getting exposed to new ideas.
Yeah.
They're being seen. They're being heard. And I would love to be able to do more private readings for people. The online readings, they're just a sampler.
Right.
I mean, those of us who read, it's really one of those things
that you enjoy, right?
Yeah, we enjoy it. However, we also enjoy really diving into a question and being able to spend all of our time on somebody. And that isn't able to happen a lot of times.
Right. And when you're in that reading, giving somebody the full information,
yes,
it is so profound for the sitter to hear. And like I said, they're energetically getting a lot more from you than just the reading. Yeah. But also, it's great for the reader to be able to do that. But there's just so much you get from a full reading. So, Gerald, they can contact you by your email, or how will they go about getting the reading?
Contact me through the email.
tarotstash@gmail.com. I'll have it in the description. I'm sure it's already in the description, but I'll make sure it's in there. And so definitely contact Gerald for a reading, because it's not to be missed. And in 2024, don't we want to get a little flavor, a sense of what's coming for us and what we might want to work on or work toward?
Yeah. So Randy is like, well, where is your merchandise?
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, because you could literally take a picture of one of your landscapes and miniaturize it and somehow get it processed onto cloth by. Well, I'll talk later. I'll tell you.
Yeah, we can talk later.
But I want to thank you so much, all of you in the chat, and I want to thank Gerald for coming on here and learning more about Gerald. It was fascinating and wonderful. Oh, Amanda's saying a purse or a satchel. You know how you make a little square.
Yeah, I totally get that. It's on the list of possibilities.
I'm telling you, it really is. Okay.
And a tarot bag, in the form of a
tarot bag. Thank you. Yes, I need one too.
T-shirts.
So, you just have to get your merch all set up and we'll be buying it. So where's your merchandise, Randy? Yeah. So I just, again, want to thank you so much, Gerald, for sharing your beautiful energy with us. And I so enjoyed it. And, this could have been a 3-hour, but we have other things to do.
Well, I'm almost out of coffee and I have another show at the top of the hour. So,
Okay. Well, there you go. I mean, I've still got some chai tea here. So
there you go. Yes. Everybody, thank you so very much for being here. I feel appreciated. And I appreciate everybody being here.
Anyway, I'm just thrilled that you were here, and I thank you so much, Gerald. And we'll say goodbye to everyone in the chat. And you'll see us again you'll see Gerald next on the next thing he's doing at the top at 4 o'clock Eastern time.
And Gerald, then we're doing polyterology on Friday.
We are. So there you go.
There you go.
Thank you, everyone, for stopping in. Like and subscribe. Go to Tarot Stash. If you have not subscribed, do so now. Leave a comment, and that'll help the algorithm. So thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.